Ever just want a game that makes you feel like your time and money was well spent? Like each step along the way felt worthwhile? When the journey was over, reminisce on how great it was. Yeah, that was me a couple of days ago. I want to talk a bit about a recent obsession that I have with a video game, an indie game in particular. That indie game being CrossCode. There won't be any major spoilers in this video, but I do want to highlight the overall basics and foundations that make the story intriguing, as well as go over certain aspects about the game. After dumping around $200 worth of games into some Steam sales, I had finally had a list of games that I wanted to make content on and briefly talk about. I told myself, alright, no more games, but unfortunately, my urges have gotten the best of me.
I don't need it. I don't need it. I definitely don't need it. I 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 need it!
Then I bought some more games. I think I have a problem. I just buy so many games when Steam has sales every single time. Steam just take my paycheck at this point. Then I saw a particular game that had been on sale. A game I heard practically nothing about, but when I did hear something about it, it was pretty positive for the most part. Yes, that game being the topic of this video, CrossCode. Based on the reviews that I briefly skimmed, I began to notice that the game was somewhat of a hidden gem. I took a glance at a little bit of the gameplay, caught an eye for its graphics. It wasn't long after I heard this information that I took my very first plunge. My first thoughts upon opening the game were, yeah, I'm probably gonna like this game a lot. The title screen alone had me put my expectations high. I love the somewhat nostalgic feeling it gives, added on with the music. The general story of this game revolves around our main protagonist Leia, who's in an MMORPG called Crosswords. The catch is that she can't recall any of her memories of the past and is unable to speak. After learning this vital information, the game leads to a journey across Crossworlds as well as diving further into Leia's self-discovery. The world of CrossCode is beautiful, to say the least, each main area having its own dungeons, quests, aesthetic, and even atmosphere. Each area that you explore also offers quests that can help the player level up, get money, or even offer some better equipment. The way you're introduced to all these different areas feels like a genuine breath of fresh air as you encounter new enemies, go chest collecting, and a lot more. Each region that you're normally introduced to always happens after you have finished completing a temple or a dungeon. Now, these dungeons vary from how long they can really be. It honestly really all depends on how well the player can really navigate through said dungeon and complete the puzzles. I even like the little references this game throws in, which there's actually a lot of, this being one of my favorite. Now, I don't know about you guys, but if a game has a really good story but some pretty ass gameplay, I don't think the devs should really expect me to be replaying the game anytime soon. I mean, the only thing that really dragged me along the way was really one aspect out of the game, and that's not really a fair excuse for me to brush off all the other bad aspects of the game. However, let's say a game has a bad story, but the gameplay is amazing. With CrossCode, I didn't really get any of those feelings, so you don't have to worry much about that. I genuinely loved most aspects about this game. The music, the characters, the story, the combat, pretty much all that it really had to provide. So one thing about me personally is that I love a slow burner type of story. I love when the people take their time to genuinely give the fan an immersive experience that would be memorable. I love when all the great things require time to build up to feel worth the wait, and I feel like that anticipation of knowing there's something greater ahead gets me hooked. I want to know who Leia really is. I want to know if she grows or regresses as a character. How does the journey she's embarking on change her? What's her real reason for being? Why is she different from the rest of the cast? These are all questions that just arose in my mind the further I kept playing the game. And it's, as I said before, the game just hooked me the longer that I kept playing. I mean, based on what I said before, the story does sound very surface level, but as you progress through the game, you see that there's a bit more fluff to it, that there's much more intricate themes being presented in the story as you go on. Now, I really don't want to spoil any of the later story, and I was supposed to be talking about gameplay, so I got a little bit sidetracked, so let me get back to that. The gameplay. I never honestly expected the gameplay to be all that good, but I couldn't help but love it the most about this game. You have your basic guarding, melee attack, long distance attack, and arts. Arts are basically special attacks that can be released based on how much SP you have. And as you progress through the game, you've guessed it, you get more SP. And more SP used can create much stronger attacks. Level 1 art, level 2 art, level 3 art. Now there's guarding arts, dash arts, long range arts, and a wide variety of other ones. Now imagine all of the things I just said and you pair it with an element, each element's arts being completely different. As you level up your circuits, you can choose a wide variety of skills that can be altered if you so choose. There's even options to take your skill points back and reset some of these skill trees just in case you want to pursue another kind of path with that circuit instead of the path that you currently chose. This leaves a large room of variety for a bunch of different playstyles. Each area of the game complements these elements with puzzles unique to that element, as well as some puzzles requiring you to use more than one element to be completed. I never feel like I'm being limited to one specific way of playing. The game actually tests your knowledge on its gameplay, and you can't just mindlessly spam arts. It doesn't feel very rewarding either, and can't really solve puzzles like that. The game pretty much makes it mandatory using these strategies to overcome your enemies, the puzzles, so on and so forth. Consumables also play a pretty big role in your fights as they give you different buffs or can simply be used to heal when in danger. If you've already played an RPG, then I'm pretty sure this is self-explanatory. I don't really need to dive into this topic any further. Overall, I gotta say, my experience with the game was very fulfilling, especially at the price that I paid for it. I took my time with each region trying to do as much as possible, constantly grinding for materials to get better gear, plus complete quests, so I didn't feel really underleveled for the most part as I progressed through the game. The amount of content I received for the price that I paid made me feel like I'm the one that really scammed the developer. I mean, seriously, I didn't pay more than 10 bucks for this game. I honestly only expected my first playthrough to be like maybe 40 hours, and I walked out of it with at least 70 to 80 hours on my belt. And that's for my first playthrough. Honestly, I really do appreciate the hard work and effort that was put into this game. The many references to media, the different and unique quest lines, and so on made me genuinely feel like the developers put genuine love into this game. Nowadays, this isn't as apparent due to developers making games solely for profit and not making them for passion like how they used to be made. But I really do appreciate anyone that watched this video as I voiced my opinion. If this video does pretty well, I mean, I might just make future videos like this based on games or even things that I read or watch. Now, if you're not following me, I usually post over on TikTok on my gaming page. I also do have an anime page as well, but the gaming page is the one that I'm the most active on. The link will be in the description below. So to anyone who watched this video, I genuinely appreciate you for taking your time to go through the entire thing, and I hope you have a great day.